Hey everyone, so today's video we're going to be going over patch notes and the two new heroes that are actually coming out. I've got them built, I've tested them a little bit. I haven't been able to go through all of the scenarios for what people might want to see, but I think I have enough where I can give you a decent example. So let's talk about that a little bit. So first thing, patch notes, there's really nothing other than the two heroes that are introduced that we'll go over, and then there's new limited summons. So the limited summon heroes are going to be the new hero that we're talking about today, which is called Mauricio, something like that. And then it's going to be Morrison and Ackerley. So I actually think this is a pretty good, limited summon. Especially if people are kind of struggling with Rift of Chaos, this is going to be like an absolutely great limited summon for you. So we have Ackerley in here, who is just easy mode for Rift of Chaos water boss, right? Fantastic. And then even Morrison's starting to come alive recently with some applications in Guild versus Environment. And there's also a part of me that kind of feels like he might be okay for Rift of Chaos Fire if you're using Huntress Freya. She gives the defense down 2, she removes positive effects and puts no positive effects up. Like if the boss gets a rage, stack buff. So I think there's probably a team there, but Morrison has actually started to come alive a little bit more so than what he used to be. So Morrison and Ackerley and the new hero. So that's what the patch notes are, along with this advanced summon up. So right now it's Badmar, but after reset, it is going to be Flaming Mila, who, if anyone is struggling early game for Rift of Chaos Earth, you should 100% pull on that banner. I have an A0 unbooked Flaming Mila, and I'm still going to pull for her on that banner. So those are the two things. Now, let's talk about these heroes. We'll talk about the red, green, blue hero first, because he's in the limited summons. Mauricio. So his trait says, at the start of battle, applies taunt to all wood enemies for 2 turns and attack down that can't be resisted to wood bosses. This is a really strong trait for Rift of Chaos Earth boss. Being able to put the attack down like consistently, right, on this boss for 2 turns, that allows you to survive that first big damage dealing nuke that he does at the beginning. That's usually the hardest one to survive, and this allows you to do that. If he is ascended, sorry, he gets attack down 2. So if he's awakened with Ascend 5, he does get the attack down 2, and then it also said if there's no wood enemy, he applies taunt to the enemy with the highest attack. So it's a version of Oria's passive, not passive, trait. Gosh, I can't talk. Sorry. This application, very good in Tulpa, right? Clearing the waves, being able to taunt all of those wood enemies to allow your damage dealers to kind of get in and get past the waves. That's kind of an issue. The thing is if you're using him in Tulpa, you're going to need to build a little bit of focus, because this can be resisted. Just can't be resisted to bosses. So the waves, you're going to need a little bit of focus. But for Rift of Chaos Fire, very good. Also for PvP related stuff, he is good against Guan Yu. Obviously, that's his main thing. But as a PvP hero, I don't know if he's that good. I mean, PvP is just all light and dark legendaries at this point. So he's going to have his application from time to time. But for the most part, I think he's going to be a PvE hero. So he does have a basic ability that says deals 100% damage to an enemy and then regenerates 15% of his health. So, self-sustained, pretty good. His special is what makes him super good, though. Immune to negative effects applied by wood enemies. When attacked by wood enemies, it applies a shield to all team members for 2 turns, and then the shield strength scales with this hero's max health, and that is up to 1 time per round, and it can go up to 2. I have not seen this book effect be necessary for Rift of Chaos, and I'll show you a team here. But this immune to negative effects part is really, really strong. The reason for this is obviously the Rift of Chaos Earth boss has that big stun, and in the past you needed to build up enough resist on your heroes, especially for the hero that was the highest max health, because if you didn't have enough resistance, he would stun you. And then whenever he attacked that hero again, if the hero was stunned, he would then do the same like max damage nuke to another hero. So that's why you needed to build resistance. But if you make Mauricio here your highest health hero within your team, he can't be stunned. So you just need to build him health. And that's really awesome. You know, this is a fantastic kind of hero for Rift of Chaos Earth. And then on top of that, his ultimate is even more amazing. So it removes a negative effect from each team member. So this takes care of the bomb. It applies 2 stacks of counterattack to all members. I don't know why it says target. So everyone gets 2 stacks of counterattack, which is awesome. And then he gains damage reduction 2 for 2 turns. It's just him that gains the damage reduction 2. So this is really good. I mean, it helps him survive that max HP nuke that the Earth boss does, and removes the bombs, and it applies 2 stacks of counterattack. So this guy does everything you want for Rift of Chaos. Now, the one downside is his ability cooldown is 4 turns instead of 3, and as we know, if you don't kill the boss quick enough, the bombs are going to go off the second time that they're put up. So in order to, you know, get rid of Jocasta or anything like that, you're going to need to book this to 3 turns, which is a bummer, or you can just deal enough damage fast enough. So the first thing I want to show you before we talk about the LD is in Rift of Chaos 3. So in Rift of Chaos 3, this is the team that I'm trying out. It doesn't have enough damage, so the bombs end up killing my team before then. I was trying him in the lead though, but honestly, I probably don't even need it. So let's see if I have enough damage out of Flaming Mila. So Flaming Mila is unbooked. Whoops, wrong person. Here we're going to bring in Mauricio. So unbooked, Gavin is full booked in A1, but then the rest of your heroes are unbooked. So I'm going to show you that at least whenever Mauricio was the lead with his health, he was able to survive, and everyone else was able to survive these nukes. But I'll show you Flaming Mila here, and Gavin put up decent enough damage just on this boss, even though Flaming Mila is unbooked. But with Flaming Mila's damage down 2 plus the attack down from Mauricio, you can survive this first big nuke. He also throws up these big shields because you got hit, which is really nice. So we'll put up the curse here. Flarence is going in. So here's those, 2 stacks of counterattack. And you'll see here, so here's the first big nuke. Let's see if we survive it this time with Gavin, even though we have, yeah, see? So those shields that Mauricio put up, and he's unbooked, unascended, all of those things, gives you enough mitigation to survive that first big nuke. So, yeah, so the damage down 2 from the Mila, there's the counterattacks. You are getting a decent enough heals from the Zitlin and from the Flarence, along with those shields from the Mauricio, to keep your team alive here. So if we end up having enough damage now from this Flaming Mila with her ability, her leader ability, we might be able to kill him. But as you saw there, our guy ended up taking that max health hit, and I don't have any resistance on him, and he did not get stunned. So it goes to show that his passive is working, so that's good. So this first round of bombs, he will have his ultimate loop back around quick enough to remove this once it drops down to 1 turn. But if we don't kill the boss quick enough on the second time that he puts it up, because his skill reduction is not on 3 turns, he won't be able to remove it in time. But as you see here, you know, all of this this big AoE that he does, which usually kills people, which is why most people run Jocasta, doesn't do enough damage with Mauricio in your team. So here he cleanses those debuffs, puts up the counterattacks. And here we're you just know slowly chipping away at him. There again, he did not get stunned, and he survived that big like it was nothing. You know, with the combination of the attack down, the damage reduction down, and then damage reduction 2 on him, it's just this guy's tickling Mauricio, an unbooked Mauricio, which is really cool. So here, if you had just a couple books into a Flaming Mila, and maybe had her like Ascended 1 or something like that, I would bet that you're able to deal enough damage to this boss, you know, on Rift of Chaos 3 with minimal investment. You probably don't even need Gavin. Like if you wanted to put all of your books into Flaming Mila and then get rid of Gavin and put in, you know, another support hero or some way to increase the damage out of Flaming Mila, that might even work better. But I just wanted to kind of showcase the longevity of this team. So here, if your Mauricio was booked, he would have been able to remove the bombs here. But because he's not, and it's on a 4-turn cooldown, sadly, he does need to be booked in order to remove these. So you got to do one of 2 things. Just have enough damage out of your damage dealers, or book him down to 3 turns, and I don't think he's worth the books. So anyway, I did just want to show you that, just because of the damage reduction is just pretty insane. So really, really cool stuff out of Mauricio. You know, same goes for Tulpa. With him as a support, he's putting up, you know, the positive effects for Gavin, Flaming Mila, counterattacks, all of those things. I don't have him built in focus though, so he's not going to be able to land his taunts and stuff like that. He only has 42% focus, but those are the stats I have on him, so nothing really special. I just went for speed and as much health as I could get, just to get him over the cusp where he would have more health than Florence, to show that he could resist, you know, those stuns from the boss. All right, next we have Old Horseface here, Renatus. Yeah, so let's talk about him. His trait says gains an elemental advantage if the target or the attacker is of light or has no ally. So he's going to have elemental advantage against light or darks. This is going to be important, or also if it's the last person standing. So that's also important. If he's Ascended or Awakened, he gets control immunity as well. So that's kind of good, I guess. It's never a bad thing. So that's his trait. His basic deals damage to an enemy that equals 55% of this hero's max health. Now, this is a little confusing. When I first read this, since there's like no damage multiplier, I thought it was just 55% of his max health, just regular damage, never crits, never anything. It's just, this is it. So try and stack his health as much as possible. But that's not true. I think it's additional damage because there is scaling off of this, but it's not just straight 55%. So this is worded poorly. And then it recovers 15% of his health, and if he's below 50%, he recovers another 15%. So he could be made into a bruiser, which is kind of cool. I don't have him as a bruiser, but anyway, that is that. So he also has a passive ability. Now, shout out to Twitchy, who I recorded something earlier, and then I actually had to take it down because I misread this. So this being a passive is really important. Let's talk about this first, then I'll talk about the differences. So it says if this hero has an elemental advantage when attacked, it removes a negative effect from this hero and launches a counterattack with the special ability. And this is up to 2 times per turn if he's booked. And I have 14 of 15 books in him. So when I read this, I thought that if he was controlled, like stunned or taunted or frozen, he wouldn't launch a counterattack. But since this is a passive, it is actually different. It's similar to Shark Soul Andre, other than in comparison to like Rosalie. So Rosalie, this is a special ability. So she launches her special and removes a negative effect on the special. But because Renatus here has this on his passive, he can remove stuns and freeze and stuff like that before he then counters with the special. So the passive activates first, removes any negative effect, and then the special ability takes place. It is very strong, very similar to Shark Soul Andre. So Shark Soul Andre has this passive counterattacks, removes a negative effect. So if he's stunned, he does the same thing. So I misread that, so shout out to Twitchy for correcting me and allowing me to kind of fix this before I posted a video with incorrect information. So thank you. Now this passive, like this special ability, hits really hard. It also reduces the cooldown of the ultimate ability. So he's going to be good against heroes like the Dark Twin. He's going to be good against Adeline. You're going to need to run him in immunity, though, to avoid her energy reversal debuff on you. But this does hit very hard, so that's cool. And then he has an ultimate that ignores all resistance effects. I don't know what this means other than it just ignores resistance. I don't know why it's worded like that. I haven't found an application where this is relevant, but just read it as ignores all resistance. And then deals damage to the target that's equal to 100% of his max health. Applies stun that can't be removed. So if he were to stun like a Shark Soul Andre, it doesn't get removed. He doesn't counterattack. And then it says increased damage taken 2 for 2 turns. Ignores the target's defense by 90% if he's booked. If the target has control immunity. So this is only heroes that have control immunity. It doesn't count as regular immunity. It needs to have that control immunity buff. So heroes like, Royce, heroes like Karma, heroes like Zoltan whenever he puts it up with his ultimate. That's what the 90% defense ignore is. So I have him at 44,000 health. 2200 defense, but he is in assassin set, and he does have 100% crit rate and crit damage, so this is the gear he's in. So just really high health percentage kind of debuffs. As I say, that's really bad. This is a good one though. And then health percentage all on the bottom, health percentage relic, health percentage ring, necklace, and then health percentage grail, and crit damage crest. Like I said, 14 of 15. He's missing this speed 1, but it doesn't matter because you're just cranking out health and making sure that he counterattacks for big damage. Those are his relics, and he is not ascended, but he gets basic health on his ascend 1. So the nice thing, right, the pro of this is he counters LDs. That's nice. The bummer is he's an LD himself, so this does nothing for, I guess, 90% of the player base, and to the 10% that's lucky enough to pull him, you're probably going to be excited. Okay, so let's just go in, and I'll show you here, his counterattacks. He'll counterattack this Aubrey, and you'll see some big damage here. We'll put immunity up on him, and boom, big counterattack. 46,000, pretty good. So he gets all of his stuff removed here. Here he'll counterattack against the Brand the Brilliant, so 44,000, pretty good. Not too shabby. So that's why I said I think he's going to be really good against like the Dark Twin. She won't be able to ult, and even if she uses her special ability, she's going to get counterattacked and die. So here, another application, we'll see. Her ability at the beginning of the round counts as an attack. So whenever she uses her ability to, control heroes, he'll counterattack and one-shot her for like 60k. Yeah, so it's pretty nuts. Here he counterattacks the Vengeful Hassle that has damage resistance for 40,000 health. That's pretty strong, although this isn't a very well built Vengeful Hassle. Yeah, so pretty good. I wish I could have showed the. We'll try and find an example of him, you know, getting stunned, I guess, or frozen or whatever, and then he removes it. I think there's an Onamaro's team in here as well, but the damage is really good. But yeah, the bummer is he's in LD, so that stinks. Okay, let's go here. So the Onamaros will freeze him, and then when Zoltan attacks him, he'll remove the freeze. So here's the freeze. Okay, let's try that again. His resistance is not high. I have no idea why he's resisting something. But let's try it again, or maybe we can find a better Onamaros. Okay, here I'll show you him counterattacking the Dark Twin. So this will be fun. Yeah. Okay. So Dark Twin does her little ulti, and pow, right in the kisser. Yeah. So pretty cool. Not too shabby. So another counter to the Dark Twin. It's kind of nice, right? Not too bad. Let's see if this Guan Yu's probably gonna kill him. I don't want that. Okay. Let's just bring in a bunch of other heroes then, I guess. So we'll bring in Aurea, we'll bring in Kelowna, and we'll bring in Jocasta. Okay. So we're hoping that Shark Soul Andre. Okay, so Aurea did her job. Nice. We're hoping that the Shark Soul Andre targets him to try and stun him. So hopefully that happens. Of course not. Okay, great. It's really hard to show you guys this stuff unless it's in a vacuum, but at least you're seeing all of his damage. He counterattacks the Corrupt Aurak, so that's kind of cool. Let's try this. Maybe the Royce will silence him, and then we'll show that he counterattacks there as well. Speed this up. Maybe we can also find a Rebel set Vengeful Hassle. Doesn't seem to be in stun, which makes sense. Big counterattack. So that only took... So this one's probably built pretty well. Not 25,000. What are people doing? Here's that defense pierce. So obviously huge damage. I don't know what that's for though. I mean, his damage on the counterattacks seemed to be okay. I also don't know if it pertains to like his max health. Like not overall max health, but what his health is at currently. I don't know. It kind of feels like that sometimes because he's only getting 9,000 damage. He's dying very easily though. There's his heals. I mean, he's at 50,000 health. Doesn't... stunning her does nothing. Doesn't feel like he's healing a lot, you know what I mean? He should have healed by 30% there. That was weird. So there's a bunch of different ways to build him. You know, I don't know if Dragon Scale's the right way to build him or not. Give him a little more tankiness. Yeah, but I mean, he just big counterattacker, you know, help against first turn people or whatever. But he is able to remove his, you know, control effects. But I don't know. You still might have to run him in immunity because, you know, heroes like Adeline will just crap all over him. You know, so will Desdemona. Desdemona can't be countered. Oderic can't be countered. So I don't know. Like, he's good. He's obviously good. He counterattacks for big damage on any LD. But he does have his, you know, he does have his counters. So I guess that's good. That's a balance, right? So, you know, those are the heroes, guys. Both really good. This guy's fantastic for any kind of mid-game player trying to progress in Rift of Chaos Earth. I mean, fantastic. This is a great addition. Really impressed with him. And then, you know, Horseface is pretty good for, you know, an LD counter, even though he's an LD himself. But anyway, that's all I got. Hope you enjoyed. Catch you on the next one. See ya.